All right. Mark, it's on you.
Okay, welcome to the monthly meeting of the Mayor's Commission for Citizens with Disabilities. My name is Mark Smith. I'm the chairperson. We're kind of out of our usual format due to the fact that we're meeting remotely for hopefully obvious reasons. What I'd like to start the meeting out with is an opportunity for each of the members present to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about who you're here to represent. And in any order is fine.
I'm Nancy Floro, and I'm with the Nebraska Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and we provide vocational rehabilitation services to individuals that are visually impaired, blind, and deafblind.
Thanks, Nancy.
I'm Megan Walls. I do accessibility, assistive technology, and universal design consulting and training through my company, Socialization. And I'm here to be a voice for the greater disability community.
Thanks, Meg.
I'm Stephanie Skabdahl, and I'm with Outlook Nebraska. We provide employment opportunities and enrichment opportunities for those that are blind and visually impaired.
Very good. Thanks, Steph.
I'm Lisa Sherman. I am the pastor of Faith Christian Church. I also serve on the state of Nebraska CISM, Critical Incident Stress Management System, Rapid Response Team, and then also I serve on the State Emergency Management Systems Advisory Council as the Family and Disability Advocate.
Thanks, Lisa.
I'm Rachel Johnson. I work at QLI with individuals with recent traumatic brain injuries and spinal cord injuries. I also live with a spinal cord injury, and I'm here to represent that population.
Thanks, Rachel.
I'm Jen Pollock, and I am a special education program facilitator for Millard Public Schools, and I am representing Millard Public Schools.
I'm Taryn Schaff. I work at Brookstone Village and represent the elderly population. I also have a spinal cord injury and represent disabilities as a whole.
Very good. Thanks, guys. And my name is Mark Smith. I'm a faculty. I serve on the faculty of the University of Nebraska Medical Center's Monroe Meyer Institute, which is the University Center on Disabilities for the state of Nebraska. And I'm here representing individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families. I am also a parent and a sibling of adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So our meeting this month is again virtual because of the circumstances in terms of our public health issues. Our goal of the meeting, I think, was to focus on following up on some work that got done over the past couple months. The commission has banded together and worked to try and put together resource information for individuals that experience disabilities in our community in terms of resources, services, and supports related to the novel coronavirus crisis that is gripping the country right now. It may not be quite as bad in Nebraska, but our turn may be coming. It's hard to say. There's a lot that's hard to predict. And knowing that people with disabilities tend not always to be the first ones to get the information, resources, and services they need, we felt like it was very important to get information out there into our community. And so we put together a resource list onto the Mayor's Commission website. I did have a chance to take a look at that recently, and I was really happy with how that came across. There's a lot there, and I think that in some ways it's almost like, is too much a good thing? Do we have too much of a good thing? But given that when we talk about disability with a big D, we're talking about a lot of complexity, a lot of different individuals, a lot of individual needs, a lot of different kinds of needs. So it's not something that we could just do a cookbook on. We really had to provide some things that were very targeted towards specific groups, specific individuals, and specific conditions. And so it wound up, as a labor of love of the commission, it wound up being a very big list. But conversely, I think that that's a good thing, because hopefully anybody who needs something can go there and at least find a place to start. I'll remind you too that those that are viewing this, that this followed a presentation by Dr. Adipur, the Douglas County Health Director. That was an excellent presentation that's also in on the mayor's website, on our commission page. And so that's available. And she shared, although I think some folks might be a little tired of hearing, about the, COVID-19. She is very plain spoken, and I thought she just did a superb job. She spoke for 45 minutes. So our gratitude to her. I want to toss it over to Gerald Kuhn and Kat Baker-Coleman to talk about what's there and how do we get to it. So if I could invite them on.
All right, I'm gonna start sharing my screen to make this a little bit easier. All right. Hopefully it will share. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So to get to the website, the easiest way is to go to humanrights.cityofomaha.org. That is the main human rights and relations page. And you scroll down to where it says Mayor's Commission for Citizens with Disabilities. And we made a whole section for COVID-19 resources for the disability community. And it's a new page that we added. And so we have a section that kind of explains everything and what we have. We also have the YouTube link. So if you want to get to the YouTube link to our last meeting where we met with Dr. Poor, that's right there. And then the main resource list is this first top link right here. So you can click that and it opens up the long resource list where we have everything. So all of the pages are here. It ranges from the health resources. And again, we tried to be as inclusive as we could. We listed any of the information that we had, if they had a website, a phone number, a TTY number, a number you could text, really anything that we could find, an email for speech and hearing impaired. We tried to list as much information as we could to make it as inclusive as we could. We have community resources, mental health, food resources, grocery delivery, transportation, information on if you need help paying bills, rent and utility assistance, and education assistance. So like Mark said, we tried to make this as comprehensive as we could because we know there's a lot of information that needs to be out there. And then if you go back to this page, we also have some other links. We have a link from the state of Nebraska. That's information on Medicaid and long-term care that's specifically related to the coronavirus. We have some links from the Department of Education specifically related to education and services related to children with disabilities. We have the food bank the Omaha area food bank locations, and that does include some Council Bluffs area and some other Omaha surrounding areas. And then Janae, a former MCCD member, is a local area lawyer, and she sent us some information on the CARES Act and some disability advocacy work that she does. So we also have that listed. And so we hope that this page will be a good resource for not only people in the Omaha area, but this also has some state and national information as well. And then we also have our Mayor's Commission Facebook, which is facebook.com/MCCD Omaha NE /, or you can just search for City of Omaha Mayor's Commission for Citizens with Disabilities. I know it's long, but we had to get it all in there because a lot of people just don't know what MCCD means. So we have this page, and since I'm an editor, it's going to show the editor's page, so I apologize. But I did go ahead and post the link to the COVID-19 resources page on here. So if anyone would like to share that from this page, you are able to do so. But yeah, does anybody have any questions about this while I'm sharing this that I can answer?
Well, a comment first, Kat. Yeah, Janae Hofer is a woman who has a disability.
Yes.
Was working as an attorney for a local firm. Contacted me that she had made a decision to no longer do to do that kind of work, and was basically opening up her own office and was going to be focusing on disability law. And she shared some information that I thought might be helpful for this page. This in no way is an advertisement for Janae Hofer as, her services. Although if anybody needs an attorney that's has good background in disability work, I have 10. But Janae is again a former member, and the information she shared I thought was quite pertinent.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic information. She has information on how the CARES Act helps individuals and also how it helps small businesses, and it's very well put together and easily understandable. So I thought it was really impressive and nice that we put it out there. So thank you for pointing that out and sending that, Mark.
Mm-hmm. The second thing I would ask is, I sit on a number of boards and committees, probably more than I like, but aside from flip remarks. One of the things that I think we're going to have to look at in terms of updating this information at some point is that there are some, if anybody who's following the news, there are discussions going on around opening things back up. And that's certainly true here, more so maybe in other places than here. I really have a huge amount of gratitude and respect for Mayor Stothard and Dr. Poor for just the terrific work they've been doing on this. But there are discussions about, the parks were closed. They're going to be opening up. Some non-essential businesses may be opening up soon, and I think we're going to have to provide the same kind of support in terms of how does one who's experiencing a disability or is a family member caring for a person with a disability navigate the new normal as what I'm assuming is come out of this sheltering circumstance in a way that's safe and protects the health and safety of people with disabilities. So I don't know if other folks have thoughts on that, but I would welcome your thoughts.
I did want to point out that at the top of all of the city websites, there is this scrolling bar where you can click and it will always give you the latest city information. So there is this. So anytime you go to a city website, they will have the scrolling bar that says, if you want for the latest coronavirus information, please click here. So you always have that, you have that option.
Thanks, Cap.
Yep.
Others, questions, comments?
Could you just, Kat, could you just go to the Mayor Commission YouTube page and just people who maybe aren't totally comfortable or familiar with YouTube and show them what it looks like and where the videos are?
Yep. Give me just a second.
Great question.
So this particular one is currently just on its own page, but we are working on getting it to the city's page. The city's a little bit behind on getting it because they were, working on things. But so the easiest way to find all of our videos is, oh, look, he got it up there for me. I sent it to him this morning. So you want to type in cityofomaha.com. It's strange, but that's what it is because our IT people is .com. So if you type in cityofomaha.com, you can look
Com
here.
with 2 M's.
Yep, com with 2 M's. And all of the City of Omaha videos are going to be here. So this is going to be where City Council, our meetings are, Board of Commission. So any of the City of Omaha videos are going to be here. So you might have to scroll a little bit, but they will be in here. So as you can see, they have, I don't know if they, oh, did they make them playlists? Hold on. Give me just a second. Oh yeah, they do. They have a Mayor's Commission playlist. So
So if
right
someone
here.
just types in City of Omaha MCCD, will that get them what they need on there?
Let's try. No, that did not work out. This is what came up when I typed in City of Omaha MCCD.
Good to know.
So
How about
City of Omaha.
Mayor's Commission on Disabilities?
That went a little bit better. At least a couple of the videos came up. So, but the easiest way is cityofomaha.com. I can add a link to the playlist on our Facebook and pin it at the top to make it a little bit easier.
If there's a way to have something on our page that goes to the playlist, that would be the best.
Yeah, I can do
agree.
that as well. I can add that. I can add that to probably, I can probably add it to one of these sections in the MCCD resources, maybe. Oh no, this is different. I'll find a place to add it and I'll let everyone know.
Okay.
I'll see where it works best.
Yeah, the other thing kind of in the back of my mind as we discuss this and are walking through some of this is, we have it on the mayor, the city website on the mayor's page and the commission page for the mayor's page. And I think, and it's also on Facebook. I'm wondering if there are ways we can do some kind of blast media-wise to ensure that folks are aware of this. I'm not sure how that would be done necessarily, so I would have to defer. But that was a lot of work. I think we came up with some excellent information, and I would just, it would be defeating if there would be somebody out there who's like, well, it would be really great if I could, you know, find this information that I need, but, you know, had no idea that it was there and available and free. Any thoughts?
I think making the information easier to get to, or more intuitive to get to, would be really helpful. So I like that they put the meeting videos on a playlist, and so they don't have to go searching for them, but you've got several non-intuitive clicks on the website to get to some of the pertinent information. So I don't know the best way to do it, but I mean, I didn't know half of it was there, and I'm on the commission. It's probably terrible to say.
I wonder if it could be something simple like a quick like screencast video that goes on maybe the website or something that shows you how to navigate to those places, or that would just list kind of the breadcrumbs. I mean, in our notes today, that's what I listed, was these are the exact breadcrumbs that it takes, maybe as that interim Band-Aid until platforms and technologies kind of meet in the middle to become a little bit more intuitive.
I think one of the big issues is also getting it out to where people know it's there. Because no matter how many quick links we put, if people don't know where to find the information, then they're not going to obtain it. And so we also need to think of how in the community can we market this as a location for resources other than only in our meetings.
Yeah, no, that's right where I was coming from, Lisa. Historically, one of the things that we've tried to do as a commission is be, to be that link to the communities that we represent. But, I don't know if that's always been, well, that was what we could do, and we did. One wonders if there's a way that we could push it out there more broadly. Because not, when we talk about disability, we're talking about a lot of people with different needs and different challenges and issues and styles of communication and access to information, et cetera. And my hope would be something like this would be, that it would be beyond just like, did we get to the, this information to the Down Syndrome Alliance, as one.
Well, is there any way we could make a flyer or a pamphlet that says where this information is, our Facebook page, or how to get to the YouTube, and then the city page and how to find us, and then distribute it to agencies that serve the population that we are advocating for, or schools to go home to special education families, maybe even doctors' offices, and have them make it available to their clientele or their patients. Then we don't have to worry about mailing them out, but then they can go directly in the hands of someone for them to use. Would that even be an option? Or is that too costly and to do?
I have a lot of experience with making brochures and pamphlets and stuff. I do that a lot for my department, so that's something that we could definitely look into if the commission would be interested.
Would we be interested? Now's your time to sound off. I'm getting lots of head nods. Everybody's still on mute, but I'm getting a lot of head nods.
And Kat, I can help you with that. And if you need help, just let me know. And I don't mean to dump a lot of things on your plate, but then it would go directly into the hands. And then these agencies, they know who could benefit from needing that service, or just another resource to give them when they're asking for community resources.
I have a lot of good software for pamphlet making and stuff, so that's one of the perks of working for the city.
And then the thought would occur, like, then what do we do with them? You know, so anybody have some strategies in mind, perhaps? You know, I'm sure Kat could put something, and Lisa could put something really cool together. Where do we want to, who do we want to send it to? Do we want to send it to our, I can get it to the Med Center, you know. I can get it to the Nebraska Consortium, which has lots of links here. But I'm just wondering,
Also on our resource, on the page you brought up for us and you showed resources, a lot of those were agency resources that we are advertising on our web page. We can give the materials to them since we are also advertising for them. Then they could, that might be one way to do it, because they are serving the individuals that we are trying to reach.
Latin is coming to mind. I think quid pro quo, something like that.
I was just thinking they would have the clientele that we're trying to reach.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, and I have quite a few either networking groups or interagency groups that do mailings. So if there's a PDF of it, you know, they do weekly mailings or stuff like that, that it can go out, and then you're not dealing with printing costs, but it's going out to people who serve a wide number of agencies themselves.
Well, I was thinking, Megan, too, the gal that presented a few months ago, her name escapes me, I'm sorry, but although I have her card.
Nancy?
Yeah. I mean, she does a lot of information dissemination. And I think her card says, follow me on Instagram, you know. So that would be an obvious person to reach out to. Other thoughts, other things? It's a quiet discussion, quiet group today. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at the page other than what Kat showed you? Are we missing anything? We can always go back to, we know what's there. Are there any gaps that people picked up on?
I didn't notice anything.
Okay. Well, I thought it looked pretty complete, but I don't want to assume. It's a bad habit. No, I'm not trying to be quiet. I'm just thinking in terms of other things that we want to make sure get out there onto this video. So what we've talked about so far is that we're going to put together a PDF flyer that will show up on our page, and then we'll Is the group cool with sending it far and wide? I think then a plan forms. Are there other things we need to talk about related to this? Or the one thing for me, again, just not to be repetitive, but I think, I mean, Kat showed about the crawl, in terms of the latest updates, but I think what we're going to see as we move forward, because at least from what I hear from the experts like Dr. Poor, is that there are a lot of unknowns, that there are issues related to, as we come out of sheltering in place, well, an example is the whole social distancing thing. There are reports from many places, including here in Nebraska, that are saying that the social distancing component is really helping. It's slowing the spread. And I can tell you that I haven't shaken anybody's hand in about 2 months. Although everybody's into bumping elbows, which is, I find quite odd, but in any case, again, I'm being flip. I think that what I would ask the commission is to keep in mind, if they see things coming across and that talk about ways to come out of some of the restrictions in terms of accessing non-essential services, accessing parks and recreation, accessing, a whole variety of things that folks have been, because my impression has been, I went to pick up food at a restaurant, and not only was everybody wearing a mask, but they had these 6-foot lines, and everybody was adhering to the 6-foot lines. And I have never seen anything like that in this town. But I think in terms of the folks that we represent, what is there guidance that will help folks that might be compromised in terms of their immune systems, or might be just more predisposed for other reasons to not do well if they happen to catch this thing, which I think would be everybody. But again, the folks we're here to represent, if there's guidance that we can offer, I'd like to see that be the next step personally. And I want to hear from you as well, in terms of being an information resource. I like what we're talking about, and that's getting what we've done out there, but I think that's coming. I've been in lots of discussions about that. So other folks' thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know necessarily about the best place for resources for that kind of slow reintegration, but part of the part of the challenge is that socialization piece along the way. And I did want to just throw out there in terms of connection and kind of maybe reducing a little bit of that social isolation, is that there are agencies that are still that have found ways and are doing virtual gatherings. So Gotta Be Me is doing a bunch of Zoom things, everything from a movie watch night to sharing about your day. And if you can go through their page and sign up for those. And Angel Guardians has a social club, and they're holding virtual events that you can sign up for. So I think making sure that those types of things are shared as well. So if you're looking at how do I connect on some level while I wait this out and maybe not feel so alone or just stuck with my family, those are both weekly, they have things going on.
I smiled, Megan, because I think I'd met your family today, but no, that's excellent point. I know Easter Seals has been trying to work to do some more things virtually in terms of making sure folks are connected when we, in terms of folks with disabilities that are sheltering. And but some of the unknowns that are coming up, like relates to Easter Seals as well. Easter Seals does lots of camps, and for a whole variety of different disabling circumstances for individuals, and they do a super nice job, and there's a big question whether they're going to be able to do that this year. So just issues like that are, you know, they're out there. Well, are we good for today in terms of our recorded portion?
I just want to remind people that if you have links for anything like those virtual things for families with disabilities and everything, send them to me so I can post them on Facebook. You can email them to me, text them to me, whatever. Just send them to me and I'll post them on Facebook so I can let everyone know about them.
Write it on a piece of paper, wrap it around a rock, throw it through her window.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I have a toddler. Worse has happened.
I'm certain. I do want to take a second and see if any of the folks that are on the call today have any announcements. I'm going to start calling people in a second.
This is Nancy Floral, and I don't have anything. I know that the coronavirus has really impacted us. We have canceled our summer employment program. We were going to have an employment summit and some other activities, and we just decided to err on the side of caution.
Understood. I don't have any announcements. Our staff, Monroe Meyer is open. There are clinicians there, not very many. We've expanded our telehealth significantly, and because we've gotten a lot of cooperation from, for example, insurance companies and Medicaid in order to provide services virtually. But we do have some hospital services and some services that require working with children at the Institute. So we're open, but actually I was told today, it's amazing how easily we went to a virtual workspace. I got kicked out about 2 weeks ago. I kept coming in and they finally said, get out. So any other announcements?
This is not an announcement, just more of a question. Do you guys think it would be a good idea to include on our COVID-19 resource list online a link to where people can go online and check their status for this check, for the stimulus check, and see whether they are eligible to receive one and when it is actually scheduled to come? Because there is a website where you can do that now.
Yes, I think so.
I can add that.
Okay. Because I just used it recently. I already forgot the name of it, but I can find it again, and Kat, I could send it to you.
Okay, awesome.
Cool.
No, I think that, again, speaks directly to, that's a big question for a lot of the folks we are here to represent in terms of their employment status and their tax status. And that was a kind of a confusing mess for a while there. It seems like it's straightening out. But yeah, I think again, as much as we can offer so that folks don't have to go without or have unanswered questions I mean, it's stressful enough as it is. So, Gerald?
Yeah, so I don't have really anything an announcement or anything, but I just will add a shameless plug that I'm running for Metropolitan Community College Board of Governors in District 3. And District 3 is everything west of about 103rd Street from Irvington to Center. And I'm running on, and you guys all know that if I have to put in some ADA compliance with MCC if I get elected. So I definitely want to make bigger partnerships with the intellectual disabled community and the physically disabled community, and allow and to remove some of those barriers that exist with people with who are disabled in getting a higher education. So that's part of what I'm running on. So if you guys live in that area, please let me know, or please vote for me. And if you guys want a yard sign, I have yard signs available.
That was quite shameless of you, Gerald. So, okay, well, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, and we have, you're going to start on the letter, Nancy,
I will.
and I'll pick it up and run with it. Okay, I don't think we have to jump off, but we can go. Can we stop recording?